It's kind of funny. We live our whole lives by this giant cosmic clock, but we barely ever stop to think about how it actually works. The rhythm of day and night, the slow turn of the seasons, even how long a year is. It all comes down to our planet's incredible dance through space. And really, it's all about two simple things, a spin and a tilt. So let's break down how this cosmic dance shapes pretty much every moment of our lives.
So let's start with the most basic rhythm there is. The sun comes up, the sun goes down. We all know it, we all live it. But what's actually happening to cause that cycle? It seems so simple, but getting this is the key to the whole story.
And then, you start thinking a little deeper. Why isn't that cycle always perfectly even? Why does a summer day feel like it goes on forever while a winter day just disappears in a flash? This is where things get really, really interesting. Okay, so the answer to that first question, day and night, it all begins with our planet's most constant motion, its spin. You can think of it like the heartbeat of our world, this steady, predictable rotation that sets the schedule for everything. So, picture this, an imaginary line, like a giant skewer, running right through the center of the Earth, from the North Pole all the way down to the South Pole. Now, obviously, this isn't a real physical thing. It's our planet's axis of rotation. It's the invisible rod that our entire world spins around, just like a top.
And here's the kicker. One complete 360-degree turn on this axis takes just about 24 hours. And that constant, steady spin is what we experience as a single day. It's the most basic unit of our time, and it's all thanks to this simple rotation.
So it's pretty straightforward, right? As the Earth spins, one half of the planet is always facing our star, the sun. That side gets blasted with light, and for everyone over there, hey, it's daytime. Meanwhile, the other half is facing away from the sun, cast in its own shadow. And that, of course, is nighttime. It's this beautiful, simple system. Spin, face the light, face the shadow. Day, night, and repeat. Okay, so that explains our 24-hour cycle. But it doesn't explain why summers are hot and winters are cold. For that answer, we've got to zoom out a bit and look at our planet's much, much longer journey, and a very special secret it's been keeping. So, on top of spinning like a top, the Earth is also constantly on the move around the sun. It's on this huge looping path called an orbit. And to make one full trip, one lap around the sun, takes about 365 days. And we of course call that journey a year. Now hold on, because this is where a lot of people get it wrong. The common sense idea is that we have seasons because we get closer to the sun in the summer and farther away in the winter. But that's not it. Nope. The orbit defines how long our year is, but it is absolutely not the reason we have seasons. The real key, the secret ingredient, the absolute game changer for seasons is that our axis of rotation, that imaginary line we talked about, it isn't straight up and down. It's tilted. It's on a lean. And that little lean, well, it changes everything. And the magic number? It's 23.4 degrees. That's it. It might not sound like much, but that specific little angle completely changes how sunlight hits our planet as we make our year-long trip around the sun. So just think about what this tilt does. For part of the year, the northern hemisphere is tilted towards the sun. The sunlight hits it more directly, it's more concentrated, kind of like shining a flashlight straight down on a piece of paper. That focused energy gives us summer's heat and those wonderful long days. But 6 months later, the Earth is on the other side of the sun, and that same hemisphere is tilted away. Now the sunlight hits it at a shallow angle, spreading the energy out, and that gives us the chill of winter, with shorter days and much longer nights. And what's really cool is that this means the seasons are always a perfect mirror image. So while folks in the northern hemisphere are having a barbecue in July, the southern hemisphere is tilted away from the sun, and they're experiencing winter. It's this beautiful, planet-wide symmetry, all because of that tilt. So we've got our days from the spin, and we've got our years and seasons from the orbit and the tilt. But how do we get all these different cosmic cycles to fit neatly into one calendar? I mean, we've even got the moon's journey to think about. This is where humans had to get a little clever. First up, the month. Ever wonder where that came from? Well, it's basically tied to the moon's orbit around us here on Earth. It takes about 29.5 days for the moon to cycle through all its phases, from one full moon to the next. Our calendar months are just a slightly tidier version of that ancient lunar cycle. But here's where we run into a little snag with our cosmic math. The Earth's orbit isn't exactly 365 days. It's actually closer to 365 and a quarter days. So every single year, our neat little calendar falls behind the actual orbit by about 6 hours. So what do? Well, we just let those quarter days build up. After 4 years, 4 quarters make a whole. They add up to one full 24-hour day. So we just stick that extra day back into the calendar as February 29th. And that is the beautifully elegant solution we call a leap year.
All right, let's step back and put all these pieces together. We've got all these different cosmic motions happening at the same time, and each one creates a different rhythm for our lives. Let's do a quick recap of this incredible celestial clockwork.
So, when you boil it all down, it's actually incredibly elegant. The day and night cycle, that's just our planet's 24-hour spin. The year, that's our 365-day journey around the sun. And the seasons, well, those are caused entirely by our axis being tilted on that journey. And finally, the month is a rough guide based on the moon's orbit around us. 4 different movements, 4 fundamental ways we measure time.
So the big takeaway here is that our entire world, from the sunrise you saw this morning to the changing of the seasons, is all built on this amazing foundation of a spin, an orbit, and a tilt. That one specific number, 23.4 degrees, literally created the world as we know it, which leaves you with one last, pretty wild thought. What if that number was different? What if there was no tilt at all? We'd have no seasons. What if the tilt was way bigger? We'd have these incredibly extreme, maybe even unsurvivable seasons. It really makes you wonder, just how fragile is this perfect cosmic balance we live in?